Welcome to the round table. I am Jennifer Eller, and with me today is my co-host, Mike Hill. Smile. And our producer, Nick Wilson. And then our guest today is Clayton Rice. Welcome, Clayton. So you're a big roundtable fan, aren't you?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes,
Sometimes.
you've been quoting things that we've been saying through the episodes. So you're probably
Which is super impressive that you can even remember that.
That's the only stuff I remember. I don't remember the good stuff.
Oh. The things that are important you don't remember.
Yeah.
The
I just watch it for the little comments.
Yeah. So you're a big listener then because you don't watch.
Yep. Nope, I just listen.
Yeah.
I listen to and from work.
Yes. Awesome.
Sometimes I got to have music.
Sometimes you listen to music?
What kind of music?
Do you listen to music?
Everything.
All the time.
Oh. I've been on the hick hop trend right now.
The who?
Hick hop.
Hick hop?
Hick hop.
Yeah. It's like rap, but country.
Really?
Hick hop.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
It is good.
There's some interesting stuff out there. It mixes and it's pretty decent.
Okay, can you name a hick hop artist?
Like the Lax,
The who?
or the Lax,
The Lax.
or Upchurch, or what's the? There's a few.
So can our worship team play any of this?
Probably not.
Are there bad words in it?
Probably.
Oh, my.
I don't listen to music. Sarah said that last night because I was mowing, and she's like, well, what were you listening to? I'm like, the same thing I always listen to, books or podcasts. She's like, you never just want to be inspired and listen to music? And I'm like, when I'm working out, because I need a little inspiration when it comes to that, or worship music. But when I listen to workout music, I mean, it ain't church worthy. That's for sure.
No. And see, my mood changes with my music.
Does it really?
Yes.
Do you get like...
It's very evident. I'll get very mad.
Really?
Depending on the music.
Can you get like...
irritable.
Pumped up?
No.
No?
It just changes my reactions to things.
Okay.
So if I listen to Christian music, it puts me in a calmer state.
Okay.
And if I go home and I'm listening to 90s hip hop, I'm yelling at everybody when I get home.
You'll yell at everybody.
90s hip hop will make you angry.
Yeah. It doesn't make me angry. It just is annoying.
What is
Then
90s?
don't listen
But I
to
love
it.
What is 90s hip hop?
Like Tupac and
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'd drive me
Good
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah,
Nobody likes new rap.
Nobody likes any rap.
No.
Mostly. Except for the old stuff. When they actually could understand them.
Except for now the country.
Yeah, hick hop.
Kick.
Hick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hick.
Hick.
Hick hop.
Hick.
Have to Google
I might.
that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to look it up just because
Yeah.
I want to be a hick. So
It'll work out for you.
Yeah,
I like
no.
it.
I don't have to try very hard.
And then occasionally other podcasts. You guys aren't the only ones.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Lately, you guys have been my favorite.
I mean, other than that.
Real AF.
Really?
Yeah, I listen to that one.
Okay.
He gets a little out there on the conspiracy side of things from time to time.
Did he write a book?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
He
thought.
did that. He started the whole 75 Hard and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I get into his quite a bit. He'll get me angry. Not mad, but like mad at the world.
Mad at the world. 'Cause
The things that are going on. Yeah. That kind of mad.
Yeah.
Like, where are we really going with everything?
Yeah. Do you listen to podcasts?
I was just listening to one today. I was telling Nick because we're looking at different things for the podcast, and I think it was called Life with the Perrys or something like that.
Oh,
It's
really?
with Jackie Hill Perry and her husband.
Who?
Jackie Hill Perry.
had
She's
the
a
same
speaker.
thought.
Jackie Hill.
Who?
Jackie Hill Perry.
Okay.
So
Should I know her?
Probably your cousin.
she's she could be. She's black, but she could be his cousin. I mean, but
Married in?
maybe so. She's a women's speaker. She's done Bible studies
really?
and stuff like that. So I've heard her. She's actually in the Bible study I'm doing right now with Clayton's wife Clarissa's in my class when we pray, and so she's one of the speakers. And so I've just found her the podcast, and I really liked it. Today it was on prayer, so that's why I kind of picked it. But no, I'm not a podcast listener. I need to be, but
The Sean Ryan Show, a Mic Drop, Dan Bongino.
The boss calls
The
him Bon
round table.
Jovi.
Huh?
My boss calls him the Bon Jovi guy. You hear that Bon Jovi guy?
Yeah, but I think the Sean Ryan Show and the Mic Drop, like they're all these military guys, and they're the military fascinates me. So Yeah.
You wish you could have. Do you wish you were in the military when you were younger?
So if I could travel back in time and change anything in my life, it would be that. I feel like any American that lives free should serve their country as a man. But again, I've never served my country, so I don't know what that's like. But at the same time, I feel like I live in a free place that I did nothing for. So I almost feel regrettable that I didn't do something. But yeah.
Well, you're serving in other ways, so I think.
Yeah, that's what somebody said when I talked to
So
them.
you may do more than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always felt like, I live free because you guys did it, and then I don't do anything about it. Like, I haven't done, I would, like, if I needed to, but, yeah, I told him it was the Sherry effect. That's why I didn't go, because Sherry was like.
It's true, yeah.
I could have got a scholarship to play football or, and I'm like, but I think I want to go to the military. And she's like, you said we're getting married. And so you are not.
They'll fly you too.
You are not going to the military. This is what you're doing. And I'm like, whatever. I want to marry you more than anything. So I don't care.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She also got you to go to church when you didn't want to go.
That's true. She flat out
So
did.
see, God had other plans for you.
That's what a good woman can do. A good woman can get us guys to do things that we would never.
Good and bad.
Never.
All right, Clayton, what kind of hobbies do you like? What do you like to do?
Lately, my hobbies have involved watching kids' sports.
Oh.
We chase the kids around and do sports all day long.
What are they in?
Everything.
Oh,
Soccer,
okay.
basketball, volleyball. Oliver was doing baseball. He's not this year.
Do you have a
Did some hockey.
Oh, wow.
He's all over.
Do you have a preference of what you like watching?
I thought I didn't like soccer, but I actually enjoyed it this year.
Okay.
She played for Crestview. And the rec leagues, I just kind of sat there and didn't really get into it, but I really kind of got into it this year.
Okay.
So I kind of like the soccer. Basketball, I've always got into. Her volleyball
Yeah.
could go either way.
Yeah.
But Oliver, I really liked watching him play hockey. But
Can you
it's just-
skate?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's dangerous when you get bigger.
So I know. So a long time ago, before we planted the church, we used to play hockey. Back in Adams County, all the Amish played all the time. And so you get hockey skates, we go to People's Pond. Well, then we started renting a Coliseum on Sunday. They would, all the Apostolics and Amish, we'd all go up there and play. So it's been forever. So the Warsaw has a skating rink thing. So we're like, oh, we'll take Hadley up there, and surely I can skate. I can skate. I can't stop. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, all these poor kids, somebody's dying.
You have more momentum. I believe they call that kinetic energy.
Yeah, somebody's going to get hurt out here. But yeah, it was fun.
We go up to Sports One in Fort Wayne,
Oh, yeah.
and they would do open ice days and stuff like that. I'd go up and
they
skate
did.
with them.
Okay, so you still got it. Yeah,
I don't stop as well,
but you still
but
got
I can
it.
still stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more thing. It's a little bit different. It's a would you rather question. Okay.
Ooh.
So someone had asked me to ask this on the podcast, so we're gonna see. So, huh?
That's what I don't know about this.
Okay. Would you rather have a needle point blank in your eye one time, or ride in a wheelbarrow across Niagara Falls?
Oh, I'd totally go across Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Way.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
You ain't putting a needle anywhere near my eyeball. Funny story.
Didn't know that was gonna come. Okay.
I feel like my wife told you that.
No, I'll say it at the end. But
When I was a kid, we did stupid things as kids, right? Because we didn't have electronics. We had to go out and play in the woods and do outside stuff. It was really fun. Well, we had BB guns, and we had BB gun fights in the woods instead of paintball guns. It was BB guns because we didn't have paintball guns. And I got shot right there.
Wow.
Did you get shot in the eye?
I did.
Yeah.
I literally almost shot my eye out. Well, I didn't realize at the time it stuck between my eyeball and the bone. Stayed there for 20-some years.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to go get an MRI a few years ago. And I'm like, wait a minute. I need to get that thing out of there because it's going to pew.
Wow.
So I had BB pulled out of my eye like 3 years ago.
Wow.
after
crazy.
22 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my kids were growing up, they were like, what did you guys do when your kids? I said we had dirt clod wars and BB gun wars.
Yeah.
And
Mud.
like,
We played in the mud.
yeah,
a lot.
anybody
Got
get
poison
hurt? I was
ivy.
like, yeah, a kid got his eye shot out in
Yeah.
the BB gun wars.
I was literally, half an inch away from losing an eye.
Yeah.
Wow. So what would you do? Would you put a needle in your eye or go across the
I'm going over
Niagara
Niagara
Falls?
Falls because there ain't no needle going nowhere near my body. No needles.
I can't even put eye drops in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, it's the whole I want to get tattoos, but I can't do it
Yeah.
because it's needles.
Yeah. So Daryl
They're not that
Dorsett
bad.
wanted me to ask that question sometime so you could answer because he knew you didn't like either one of them.
Oh, yeah. I
See,
mean,
I worked with Daryl Dorsett's brother
Okay.
oh, you
up
did?
at 5 Star.
Okay.
And I asked him after Daryl's podcast, I said, hey, what's this story about the high school?
Yeah.
So I got all the details
Oh
on
my
that one.
gosh.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's how I
So-
get in, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I thought that was
Yeah.
a little funny. So okay, so yeah, so what was your growing up like? What was did you go to church as a kid? Did you have was your family crazy? Or
Well, yeah. Whose family wasn't?
mine really wasn't, but
I don't remember a lot of it. I kind of put everything out. I've got this really good gift at blocking things out, and I've never got the gift of bringing it back. My parents,
Where'd
I know,
you grow up at?
Bluffton and Huntington. Well, Roanoke.
Okay. so
Parents got divorced. Dad lived in Roanoke. Mom lived in Bluffton.
okay.
She got remarried over in Bluffton, and we went to a small Methodist church there, and Dad went to a Lutheran church outside of Roanoke.
So you went to Norwell?
No, I went to Bluffton.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about Bluffton.
Well, you
right.
know, there's the upper class Norwell people, and then there's Bluffton,
It's
right?
debatable on who you talk to.
I'm just telling
Yeah.
you, that's what those
They
people
think
over
they're
there
upper
think.
class. but
Huh?
They think they're upper class.
I know. That's what I said. That's what everybody over there thinks.
That's all right. They can stay up there.
Yeah.
So grew up in Bluffton mostly. Would come over weekends and summertime, Roanoke and 4-H and stuff like that. But we did some church. My stepdad was very religious. I would say my mom was more than my dad, and Dad kind of stepped out of it and worked more than he did anything else at the time. So he worked excavation, so it was 12, 14-hour days, 6 or 7 days a week. So there came a time where we kind of just ventured out of it as we got older. We had other things going on. And did I get saved when I was a kid? Sure, I went through the motions. Did I really believe it at the time? I don't really know. I always believed there was a higher power. I remember that as long as I can remember. But what it was, I could never point a finger on it. So we went through all the growing up phases of partying and forgetting about God and Jesus, and you go through all that. And I always had something pushing me to help people. So I was 17, so 2000, fall of 2000, the fire department in Bluffton was hiring paid on call guys. I was like, oh, I can do that. Well, you had to be 18. So I applied for it anyway, and they said, well, come try out for it, and let's see what happens. So I went and did the tryouts. I actually got selected as the top person.
Wow.
So I think they pulled 3 or 4 that year, and they said, we're going to bring you on, but you can't do anything until you're 18 other than training. So I would still run out and do calls and stuff, but I couldn't go into fires. I couldn't do extrication, stuff like that. But I could still go on the calls. So I did that for a while, and the day I turned 18, I was like, you know what? I'm doing something bigger. So that's when I went and joined the Army. So did 5 years there.
What made you choose Army?
Both my brothers were Marines. Grandpa was Navy. Had a cousin that was Army and another cousin that was Air Force. And of all the sane people, the only one was really Army.
Out of all those, really?
I didn't want to be a Marine. I just had no interest in it. It was too much indoctrination. And to me at the time, Air Force was not enough.
Right.
And I didn't want to be on a boat, so I wasn't going Navy.
Okay.
So I ended up Army.
Okay.
In the end of the day, I probably should have went Air Force, but that's neither here nor there.
How come?
The way it's run is completely different. You go through the other militaries and stuff, and it's very military, and you get out. And the Air Force, everything translates to college credits more. At the time, anyway, I think it's all kind of moved that way now. But when you went through the Air Force, it was all more academic. So it would translate more into the college stuff than the other. So would it have been a benefit? I don't know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say it helped them when they got out more than the Marine Corps or the Army that I've heard stories from.
Right. So how hard was boot camp?
Depends on who you talk to.
No, I'm talking to you.
There was days I really enjoyed it, and there was days it was absolutely miserable. There was a point where I literally tried to take my own knee out so I could just be done.
Really?
It got that bad. You had
Is it
30
mental,
seconds. 30
physical?
seconds to eat.
Oh my.
If you didn't have your food gone in 30 seconds, you were not eating lunch. Yeah, if you looked up from your plate, they were yanking your food out and throwing you out the door.
Oh my.
Oh, you're done. Let's go.
So how close is it to all of the movie stuff that you watch when it comes to portraying military?
So I would have went in 02, October of 02. So I went into old military.
Okay.
We weren't allowed to have cell phones. We weren't allowed to have any of that stuff that they have now. We didn't have the fancy little red cards that if you were getting in trouble, you could put your little stress card up.
That is not true.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah, they got all sorts of stuff now. It's like going to college.
Huh.
Maybe not. maybe not that bad. But to us,
Yeah, right.
that went through like real basic. It's you look at it and you're like, huh, that's why I got out 5 years later. Is what was coming out of basic training. I'm like, I am not going to war with these people.
Right.
It's just not happening. You know, you got people coming out to your first day at the duty station wearing knee-high pink socks thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
No. So then you yell at them, then you get in trouble for yelling at them, and it's just turned into something else.
Right.
So basic was tough. You get broke down to the lowest life form you could ever be.
Right.
And then they build you back up to be a killer. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know, they break you down, build you back how they want you.
And did you feed off of that? Like, was that a good thing for you? Like being, you know, because you hear different theories of people of like, I want to be built back up to be a machine. Like, I want that. Like, I want that in my life.
At the time, yes.
Okay.
Now, no.
Okay.
Because the way you're built back up, this is what I need. This is when I need it. It's right now. I need an immediate result. And it still carries on 20 years later.
Right.
So if I am sitting here and we're at work or I'm with the kids or whatever, and I say, I need help, I need it, whatever, I expect it right now. And I'm having a hard time switching that back to I need it without exploding at anybody, you know?
Right.
So it's hard to transition from what you're used to then, and then you go into the fire side, and the police side is the same way. If I don't get it and I don't get it now, we're going to die, you know? So you have a hard time transitioning that back to normal life.
Yeah.
To where you can say, hey, go get me that pencil, and it's okay if it takes a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you share a memory from the military that was like our audience would be fascinated by?
I don't have any real good stuff. Afghanistan, we did a lot of things in Afghanistan. I actually lived in the presidential palace for 2 weeks.
Did you really?
I did. I worked with a private security agency down there for 2 weeks doing security for Karzai.
Oh, really?
So we got to run him around town. But the mountains over there, just huge. You know, and you don't have the infrastructure you have here. So you go drive a road through a mountain and you're literally peeling the paint off the Humvee on the driver's side while rocks are falling down the mountain on the passenger side.
Yeah. Yeah, I see those pictures and I'm like, instantly have fear.
But you're going through there and it's desert back there. And then you come up over on this plateau and it's just a big flat plateau. And then it opens up to the most beautiful, lush green valley you've ever seen in your life.
Really?
Like, it could be a prime tourist destination. Just gorgeous. But you don't see that here.
Yeah. Right.
You know, you don't see, oh, this is the good part of Africa. You just see people get blown up.
Yeah. Right.
So the stories, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You know, you get fed what people want you to see through the news. You don't get fed real life.
Right.
So you always have to look at, this is what we see, but what's the other side?
Right.
So that's something I really learned over there, was it's a whole different world than what you think you're going into.
Yeah. And this is a little bit off the subject, but a lot of the podcasts I listen to with the guys that are in the military, you know, you're built that I want to fight and protect my country, but then you go and serve, and there's a whole nother view after you've been there and you get out of, like, how bureaucracy has changed the ability to truly be able to serve your country. Did you feel the same way?
Everything.
Yeah, that's how they are. Yep. Like a very much questioning.
There's nothing, I don't watch the news hardly ever anymore, but if I do see something pop up or somebody tells me something, there's nothing that I ever see anymore that I'm not like, wonder what the rest of that is.
Oh, right.
You know, because that ain't it.
Yeah.
Because you ever go like on a mission or something, and you're like, this can't be anything to do to serve my country, that I'm not sure why I'm doing this. Makes no sense.
Most of what we did revolved around opening schools, and because I was military police, which in Afghanistan was more like multi-purpose.
Okay.
MP, multi-purpose. So we went out with infantry, we went out with special forces, we did presence patrols, we'd go out and pick up caches of explosives and stuff like that, or we might just do security on the base. They actually had MPs doing police work on the bases over there. So you had a whole variety of things. I worked in a prison over there for a while. That was interesting. But
so how many years were you in Afghanistan then?
18 months.
Okay. So then where else did you serve?
Hawaii and Virginia.
Okay.
What's a positive you'd take away? What's one thing positive that in the military? Because you already said there are some negatives that you're still living with. Was there a positive that came out of
it? Gives you a strength that you didn't know you had, is the biggest thing. I was actually talking to Tammy about it yesterday. Your mind is incredible. And as soon as you think I'm done, you're at like 20% of what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And you can push and push and push and push and push and push until you're really done. And you don't realize where that spot is until you're a spot that if I stop at 20%, I'm dead. It's a way to push yourself further than what any average person could ever imagine. And your elite sports and stuff like that, your career guys that have gone to MFL, they know all that. And the people that run 26-mile marathons and stuff like, they know.
Right.
You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. And that's not something that the average person will ever experience.
Yeah. That's what the David Goggins. Have you ever read any David Goggins stuff?
No.
Have you ever read any of his stuff? You Can't Hurt Me. So he was this guy that was 300 pounds, became a Navy SEAL, fought through all this, went into Delta Force and some other. But anyway, he gets out of it, and his whole thing is how bad his life was, and his military experience, and he says the F word a lot. So for anybody that's out there listening, don't get mad at me if you go listen to David Goggins. But anyway, his whole thing is like, you have no idea what your body can do.
Right.
You have not even come close to testing what your body can do. Your mind will shut it down if you don't learn how to fight through like the battle of the mind and being able to use your body for the way that it is.
So was faith any part of your journey when you were in the military?
Well, in basic training, you could either clean the barracks or go to church. So everybody went to church. They didn't feed you well there. It was some place to go, and there was a guy that you questioned whether he even believed in God or not when you were there listening, and so it was just kind of emotion. But I would say, looking back, there was more than enough times where I would say I probably should have been dead there.
Oh, wow.
But specifically one time I'm walking, you ever heard of a HESCO wall?
No.
It's basically like a 4-foot steel cage. They fill it with a bag, fill it with rocks and sand and stuff, and they build it up into a wall, sometimes 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide, stuff like that, and it'll be 10, 15 feet tall. And I'm walking back to we lived in a tent at the time, and get on rocket attack. And every day, you get hit with mortars and rockets every day.
I mean,
My
you just make it
gosh.
sound
It just day one, they had these big bunkers set up, and day one you're diving into bunkers, and month 3 you're just like whatever, blow me up. So at this point, this is a year into it, and I'm walking back from lunch, and alarm goes off, and I'm like, whatever, I'll get back there when I get back there. Well, then there was a big boom, and I got back there a lot faster than I thought I was going to. Well, come to find out, exactly where I was standing on the opposite side of the wall, 5 feet away, a rocket blew up a container.
Wow.
So I'm kind of like, that was a close one. But, and just little off the wall things like that, where I say little, but.
And you're not married at this time?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So it's not something that you would have thought about at the time, but you look back on it now as you're growing your faith, and you're like, yeah, he probably played a part in that, He probably kept me around for a reason.
Right.
So several incidents similar to that, but firefighting and stuff like that. I remember walking into houses on fire and just looking around and be like, bro, we should all be cooking right now. And it's just like a bubble around you.
Wow.
Yeah. But, and is it God playing his part, or is it your hose isn't on at that point, so it ain't the water.
Right.
But things like that.
Yeah.
So then you get out of the military, and you go to Virginia.
Well, military took me to Virginia.
Okay.
So I ended up at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and there I was an accident investigator, active duty. And towards the end of that, I started volunteering as a firefighter. And that's when it all ended down there. Well, military side.
You were ready to get out?
Yes and no. I had a couple opportunities that now I probably should have taken. I'd be retired almost a year now. I'd have retired last October if I'd have stayed in, but a couple opportunities came up, and I just wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
So I was it was my time to be done. And I transitioned from the military, and I was a federal cop on the same base, and did that for 5.5, almost 6 years.
Wow.
And that whole time I was doing that, I was volunteering as a firefighter down there. And we were in Fort Belvoir, is in Fairfax County. I think Fairfax County has something like 3 million people in it.
Oh, wow.
And I volunteered at the next county down, which is Prince William County. The department I was in was Dale City Volunteer Fire Department. They were career guys Monday through Friday. And then the volunteers worked 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., stayed in the station, and then holidays and weekends.
Oh, really?
Would be all volunteers. And there was four stations we ran.
Oh, wow.
And there was 700,000 people there. So when I say volunteer, it's not like you're a volunteer in Liberty Center.
Right.
It's you're a volunteer, you're running a 12-hour shift once a week, maybe twice a week, 48 hours on the weekends, and you're running calls. You're running fires, you're going on accidents, if you can imagine the call, you're going on it.
Really?
So I did that for a while and used that to get all my certificates to switch over to the fire department, and ended up as a firefighter on Quantico the last few years we were in Virginia. I think I started down there, would have been 2016, and did that for about 6 years.
Isn't Quantico where the FBI and...
Yeah.
I knew I heard that name. I'm like, what is that? That sounds important.
Yep, Quantico Marine Corps Base is
Got it.
Prince William County splits the 2 counties there, and we had 3 stations there. I think we had like 106 firefighters.
Wow.
And You'd run everything from springs and falls. We spent the time in the woods doing. They had 43,000 acres of ranges. They'd burn every spring and every fall.
Really?
It was mortars and things like that blown up, would light it on fire, and then we'd have to go out and make more fire to put the fire out. It's a good time. So you'd go out there, you'd work a 48-hour shift, you'd spend half of it out walking around the woods putting fires out. And then if it wasn't wildland season, we called it, you still ran mutual aid with the counties, and you get fires on the base and off the base. And we had I-95 split the base. And I was always out by the station right there, so we'd be running out on the highway doing accidents all the time. And we had a lot of work out there. I think the last year I was there, we ran I want to say it was 18 or 19,000 calls between the 3 stations.
So did you like Virginia?
Virginia was beautiful.
Okay.
We'll say that. There was a lot of good things in Virginia, but the rat race was just horrible.
Really?
I mean, you had 4 or 5 lanes of traffic running 80 miles an hour, bumper to bumper, or stopped because that bumper to bumper turned into an accident. So it could take you 20 minutes to get to work or 3 hours.
Yuck.
It was bad. And there's so many people, and so many people commuted, and it wears you down.
Yeah.
And mentally, physically, everything. And on top of that, you're doing police work and fire work and stuff like that. And eventually, that was part of moving back, because I was just done seeing death. I was over it, you know. And then we came back. I had a surgery. I was off work for 2 months. Came back up to visit, and I literally had my dad's old pickup loaded on a trailer, getting ready to take it back down to rebuild it with my son. And we're sitting out there, and I looked at it, talked to Chris. I was like, what do you think about moving back up here? She said, I'm fine with it. So we went and talked to my dad. I said, hey, what do you think about us building back by the pond? Well, that's fine. So we pushed the truck off the trailer and drove back down, and I think in about 3 weeks, I completely flipped our house, top to bottom, about 3,600 square feet. New floors, new paint, new everything, completely redid the house. And we had it sold within 2 months and moved back up here.
Wow. So in the midst of all of that, sounded like you got married, you had...
Yeah, I want to know how you met your wife. I was going to ask you, you jumped all of that. So
we skipped that part.
No, that's the fun stuff. So
she fell in love with my singing.
So you're a singer?
No.
Well, you just said she fell in love with your singing.
No. I did karaoke.
Hey.
There was generally a lot of alcohol involved.
Can you sing karaoke right now?
No.
You could.
No.
Can you put on a song, Nick?
No.
What's your favorite song?
Songs. I don't have any good songs. So anyway, she was at a bar and I was at a bar, and we started talking, and I chased her for a month or two, and she worked at another bar, and I'd go bug her there, and I eventually got her to come hang out, and she never left.
How old were you at the time?
I would have been 26.
Okay.
Something like that. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, and so still at this point, you aren't going to church? Like, I didn't know where that...
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Okay. At any time while you're
was not a thought in my mind, never crossed my mind. It was, how can I not think about anything?
Okay.
So it was chasing women and drinking beer.
Right. What
Go
about
to work.
after you got married?
We partied a lot.
Hopefully you stop chasing women.
Eventually. No. We partied a lot, and that actually led to some problems, and we were in a really rough patch, and I was at work one day, and she called me and said, hey, I'm pregnant. And that's when we decided to get married. So it was through the military, through everything, it was party. That was it. You go in there, and you're in those life and death moments, and the only break you get is when you're in a different world.
Right.
So it was just drink as much as you can, as fast as you can, constantly. As the way it was in Hawaii, you either went to the bar, you went to the beach, and if you went to the beach, you took the bar with you.
Right.
You know, and same thing in Virginia. It was just party central.
Right.
And after we got married, I don't know, Annabelle was a couple years old. Oliver was just born. We'd just bought another house. And I noticed one day that I'd snap. Anything that happened, I was unhinged, and it was bad. And I was like, I got to do something. I said, even it makes me a better person, doesn't make me a better person. I got to do something for the kids. I got to do something. So we started doing a little bit of church shopping at that point, and we ended up at Grace Church of Fredericksburg. Similar to this. Children's ministry was run a little bit different, but size-wise, it was very similar. But they had a whole nother section, completely different setup, just for the children's stuff, and we dove into that pretty hard, and that worked out pretty good once we got into the small groups. It was the same way. There's people at the door, very welcoming. We kind of fit in and clicked real well, but it just wasn't what you needed for me. She dove into the volunteering more than I did. She dove into everything more than I did, but I had a select few friends. And then we joined a family life group, and it was marriage only. Kids were invited, but they went down with the other kids. And that group helped us a lot. And it was really hard for us leaving when we made that decision. It really hurt her, and it's been hard for her to reconnect since we got back up here. So we started up here. We started in Roanoke at a small country church, and I wanted to do the traditional style church, and she wants to do the more modern music and louder and stuff. And I was like, nah, let's give this a try. And my sister and everybody went up there, so we gave it a try for a while, and it just wasn't feeding us spiritually. Like, we always left and we wanted more. So that's when I started looking online and started coming on the videos, and I found you guys online. I'm watching, and I never said anything to anybody about it for probably 6 months. And I would just watch you guys. I was like, I like this guy. It's like, he reminds me of me, but he knows what he's talking about. So I finally, it would have been September. I said, hey, they're getting ready to start a new 4-week series about the church and what the church believes. I said, let's go to it. So that's when we started. It was that 4 weeks you did about Life Church. And we've been here since. I think maybe we've missed like 2 Sundays.
So what was back in Fredericksburg, I'm always interested, like, what in that small group concept was good for you? Because I think it's different for different people when you get in a group of what's good.
Theirs was literally, if you came into it, we had 5 or 6 families, 6 families. And we literally did everything together. Yeah. You out on the weekends, hey, we're going down here. I mean, it was like a family outside of family. Because her parents lived north of us 45 minutes or so, but you didn't know how long it'd take to get there, so they never wanted to come down, and we never wanted to go up. So we didn't really have anybody there.
Right.
And my family obviously is 10 hours away, so we didn't have anybody to call family, so they became our family.
Yeah.
So being able to take the kids and them being younger, not having to find the babysitters, and just being able to sit there and really open up and share with people. And we did it at one of the houses, so it's a private setting, and did dinner.
So they became good friends.
Right.
Yeah. That was the part I wondered. Right. Like, it's more than a group.
So everybody bring a dish, and it was dinners once, I think we did once every 2 weeks.
So it was like a family.
And then the people there was a couple that ran it, and they'd come up with different games and stuff like that for us all to sit down. And one of the guys that was on it, him and his wife were the worship pastor and his wife. And they did all the worship, so they'd bring their guitars and we'd all sing and stuff like that.
So you do sing?
No.
No. There's a hidden talent here that doesn't want us to know about.
You know how you hide in front of the speaker so nobody can hear you sing? That's me.
Yes. So yeah, you got to get in the front where it doesn't matter how loud you are. Nobody can know that you're a bad singer.
I'm slowly getting Chris to come forward.
Just keep. She doesn't want to sit in the front?
She likes hiding in the back.
So much better.
She started on the left side, clear at the back. I was like, no. So move forward. I was like, let's go to the center.
Yeah.
Move to the center.
Yeah.
So now we're like fourth row in the center.
Yeah, you're working your way.
Slowly. And it's kind of creepy because he'll come out and look at you. It's like, no, don't say anything to me. It wouldn't be. I didn't do it. I know you're talking to me. I said it the other day. Mm-hmm. The day she invited me on the podcast, I was like, Jennifer, I'm telling you, just tell me a day. I'm not going to tell you yes. I don't want to do it. I said, tell me a day and I'll be there. So that day she came up and asked, it was that day they said, you just need to do it. And you just need to share your story. And I'm like, oh, come on.
That's right. That's
I was
right.
like, this was planned.
It was not.
They got together and they did this specifically to me.
Yeah.
Nope. I just trust the Holy Spirit in His leading when I'm supposed to ask people, and He'll speak to you when.
And then Taylor was talking about it one day. He's like, yeah, you just need to share your feelings with people, and your story is going to lead you. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling me to go on this podcast. So that's why I told Carissa today. I said, there's way too many signs I need to go on a podcast, so I'm just going to go.
So how do you think that through all of that, because there's a lot to that story, so what do you think the things that God has changed the most inside of you, and how do you feel like He's using you?
I think for me, and it's hard for the using me part right now because I always thought I was helping people.
Yeah.
And when I left the fire service, I came back up here and I delivered beer. Mm-hmm. So now I'm literally killing people with beer. That's what I think.
I don't know that that's quite a fair statement, but
that's what I see in my head. Is
okay.
I'm not contributing to society at all.
Okay.
I'm taking mass quantities of beer out in this semi every freaking day, and everybody's an alcoholic. That's what I see in my head.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was an okay job. My body was not going to do it much longer.
Right.
You're moving 20,000 pounds a day by hand.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a forklift with you. You're putting it on a cart and you're moving it.
Right.
So my back was not going to keep doing that much longer. I was in the best shape physically that I've been in 15 years, but I'd wake up in the morning, I could barely move.
Right.
So talked to my friend in Bluffton, said, hey, you're doing the electrician thing. Let me come check that out. So I started working with them part-time, and I was like, this isn't too bad. I think I could do this. So I ended up switching over full-time with them and have been there since.
Right.
But so the helping people out part has kind of went away to me. So I'm trying to figure out a way to fill that void and how God wants to use me at this point.
And have you had any revelations?
No.
Because I think that's honestly a struggle for tons, especially for men. Like, how do you fill that void?
I feel like I'm being pushed to do something construction-wise for needy families and things like that, or wheelchair amps or whatever.
Right.
Stuff like that. But I don't know how I can do that yet.
Right.
But that's kind of been on my heart lately, and I don't know if that'll come to fruition or won't or what. There was a place in Virginia, it was called 516 Ministry. That's all they did. They'd just go around and do construction all day.
Oh, really?
They'd go help people put roofs on or new siding or wheelchair ramps, and then as they grew, they would go, and if a tornado went through Kentucky or Tennessee or whatever, they'd take a team and go down there and help clean up and get people's houses back together and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of neat, but I don't know that I have the skill set or knowledge to go that far into it.
You don't always have to have that. You just need the vision.
Right. So that's something that I've kind of been looking at and getting me back into that helping people thing.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah. And are you guys farmers too?
No.
They have goats.
We
I
have
was going to
goats.
say, I thought you said in one of the things we were in that you were an animal farmer.
We had at one point 11 goats, and I think it was 11. But we were breeding for show goats.
Oh, you were?
And it just was not where we wanted to be.
Okay.
So we got rid of the majority. We still have our animals for 4-H. We have a couple pigs, a couple goats, rabbits.
So
chickens.
you'll show in the Wells County Fair?
Huntington.
Oh, you'll be in Huntington.
Yeah, we live in Roanoke now.
Okay.
But Dad has, I don't know, 60 acres.
It'll just
so
give me a
that they
good
farm.
reason to go drink milkshakes and watch the 4-H fair again.
Funny you speak of milkshakes. My wife runs the milkshake booth.
Does she really?
Yep.
I like.
And she's going to be looking for volunteers from Life Church in the near future.
Hey,
So,
yeah.
Let me
If
just
we
throw
get
that
you
out
like
there,
a
guys.
massive amount of volunteers, is there like, can we have unlimited, like,
well,
Unlimited.
Erica Steffen organized the volunteers last year, and I think she's working on it this year. But
Okay.
you get a free milkshake if you volunteer.
oh, Judas.
One.
I mean, I did it. Yeah. Those were back in the days.
One.
Yeah, I used to go over
Just
there.
keeps getting refilled.
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, I don't know how many I ended up. Eric and I used to text back and forth of how many you were up to. And
Yeah.
I mean, 12,
So-
13, 14 of them.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Carissa
Couple
picked
days.
that up a couple years ago, and she's ran it a couple of years now, and seems to enjoy it, but it's stressful.
There's nothing better than the 4-H fair, especially when you don't have animals.
Yeah.
You get to walk around, eat food, talk to everybody else.
And that's
watch
the hardest
everybody
part
else.
for me is it drives me nuts because she's so worried about that booth that I got to worry about the kids, and
Yeah, you got to take care of the animals.
so
She's got to keep that milkshake booth going.
Yeah.
That thing is like vital.
it's
to
needy is what it is.
Huh?
It's needy, very
Yeah.
needy.
It's
You don't
like-
want to start a riot at the fair.
I was
because
going to
you can't
say,
get
if the
milkshakes.
milkshake booth went out, there would be a riot.
And that's-
the Dairy Barn milkshake booth.
Well, it's the goat barn now.
Oh.
It's not even the dairy barn anymore.
So does that mean we're
Goat
Huntington
milk?
eating goat
County-
milk?
No, it's regular milk. The Huntington County Goat Association. We
Took
joined it
over.
when we brought the goats in, and my sister runs. She's secretary, and an old friend of ours is the president and the superintendent at 4-H fair and all that. And so we got into that, and all that milkshake stuff goes back to the 4-H kids. So I never knew that growing up. I was like, oh, those are really good milkshakes. Never thought of it. But 100% of that money goes right back into 4-H.
I just
Wow.
better eat a few more.
Wow.
If that's
So-
the case, then I
You
got to
better
do my
give to the
duty.
kids.
It's
Give
my
to the
civic
kids.
duty
Right?
to go over
At
there.
least 5 more.
Huh?
At least 5
I
more.
think we should put a challenge out on our social media when it comes that week of like
Who can
how
drink the
many
most
who can eat the
milkshakes?
milkshakes. Yeah, then tell me that's not a good idea.
I'm in with it.
I mean,
I'm gonna
I
win.
might have to participate in that just to
I actually
see.
Let's take out a loan so you can afford the fair. That's what's ridiculous.
I was talking to her today, and they were talking about people to do the milking competition at the fair, and I mentioned your name,
Hey, listen,
Milk
I used to
me.
milk goats
but
just like that.
they already had their people.
Oh, Jesus,
Oh, bummer.
seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next year.
These
Next
these
year.
these hands by hand.
We'll get you in there.
Then you go hit dingers.
I said, should I
afterwards.
invite
That's how it
Mike?
works.
She says, no, we already got them. So they got Jamie
jeez.
Kraft, Todd Landrum, and JP at the extension office are the names that they threw out.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but I did.
It just got
So,
revealed.
Funny.
Yep, is what it is. I
Okay.
don't hold secrets well.
Yeah.
So, parting words of wisdom for
Oh, man.
anybody out there.
Just in the words of Bob Burnsworth, just let go. Stop trying to hold on. I asked him one day, I said, how do you do it? Like he's the most open, giving person I've met since I've been back in Indiana. And I was like, how do you do it? He says, it's easy. You just let go and let God have the reins.
Wow.
I said, I don't think it's that easy. He said, no, it is. You just have to do it.
Yeah. I do
So
remember him
I'm
saying
trying
that.
to do that.
Yeah. Is that going to be a stretch for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have so much control your entire life.
Yeah.
How do you just let go?
Right.
That's not as easy as I want it to be.
Yeah. I think that's for all of us. I think it's a constant.
Nobody wants to let go.
A constant, like, okay, it's easy to say, hard to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody can say it. But
Well, Wade, thanks for.
Oh, no, he knows the story.
oh, man. Now you got to spell the story of Wade.
Let's just Jennifer.
Come on, Jenny with an
Come
I.
on, Jenny. Tell them the story of
So,
Wade.
I was at Discover Life last year, and him and Carissa were at the first night. So I'm trying to do good and remember people's names. And so he walks by and I say, hi, Wade. He goes, My name's Clayton. I said, are you sure it's not Wayne?
Yeah. Been Clayton for 40 years. I don't think it changed last night.
So, anyways,
my friends call me Wade, and everybody needs to call Jenny with an I now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so when you come up and see him, are you first or second service?
First, generally.
Yeah, so if you are listening, make sure you do watch. So at some point you do got to watch so you can come on and get a good idea.
You got to see the faces
does he
of the people.
look like a Clayton or does he look like a Wade? That's the thing you
looks
need
like
to
a
decide.
Jason.
Maybe a Clyde or something. Goes along with the hip hop.
What's your middle name?
Wayne.
Wayne. Well, that's
Close
to
enough to
Wade.
Wade.
Yeah. Well, Clayton, seriously, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, there was a lot there and a lot more there that you could share, but we appreciate you coming on and sharing. And again, we'll continue to pray with you and with us as we learn to give up control, let God use us, and see what's in the future. And so, again, if you're out there when this comes out, if you are watching and or listening, make sure that you take it and share it, when this comes out on Facebook. So like, share, comment, so we can get it out on other people's feed and everybody can be able to know and hear your story and be able to learn from those things. Again, like I said earlier, if you're listening, make sure you do go on at least one time. One time you have got to go to our YouTube page and you have got to see.
Is the deer still up there?
Yeah, the deer's still up there. You got to come on. You got to see the set. You got to see the guests. And again, just for the sheer fact, the church is big enough now, it's hard to know, who everybody is. So it's a great opportunity to get to know, put a face with a name and be able to come up and say hi. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.